So let's spend a minute and talk about the health benefits of being out in nature. Not only the physical ones, but more importantly to this conversation, the mental health benefits of being out in nature. So anytime you go out anywhere, if you're out in nature walking around, you're maybe walking for a mile or more, and so you're getting the benefits of being out in the fresh air. You're getting the benefits of being out in sunlight, but also the benefits of the mental health benefits of being out in nature. And one of the best ways to really get the full maximum benefit of being out in nature is to learn how to live in the moment. A couple examples of that. If I talk about my dog for a second, um, I could be hiking with him out to he's a Labrador, loves water. I could be out hiking with him to his favorite swimming hole, and but on the way there, he'd be all excited. Maybe we have a mile walk down to the swimming hole or whatever, and he'd be all excited to get there. But on the way there, he's going to stop and check out every smell, every little thing, every sound. He's going to be just going from thing to thing to thing, even though he's looking forward to going to the swimming hole. He's enjoying each and every single moment along the way. Um, you know how a clock has the numbers from 1 through 12 on it. um, I was told once before that if a dog had a watch, each one of those 1 through 12, instead of the numbers, it would just say now, 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 because that's all they think about. And one of the things with mental health stuff, everybody is struggling, it seems like nowadays, on some level, with either depression or anxiety or whatever, or a little bit of both. But when you have depression, you're living in the past. When you have anxiety, you're living in the future. The depression, living in the past, all the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and why did I and why didn't I, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, the anxieties are you're worried about things that might happen or could happen in the future. And we've gotten so bad as human beings at just living in the moment, not worrying about what did happen or not worried about what is going to happen. And that's a lesson we can learn from dogs, because dogs always live in the moment. If That's why if you scold your dog because he did something wrong, and then 30 seconds later you want to go outside and play, and he's all happy about it. Where a human, they would just dwell on that, oh, he scolded me, for the rest of the day, or maybe even a couple days or whatever. But dogs don't do that generally. A good, healthy, stable dog. Now, if you beat your dog every day and everything, he's going to have anxiety and stuff. But good, healthy, stable dog just lives in the moment. An example of this is whenever. So I was driving. My lab comes with me all the time, and it'd been raining for 3 days, just nonstop. And every time I would take him outside, we were both out in the rain, and it's just miserable and chilly and just nasty. Got to this place in Oklahoma where I was going to pick up this load. Got there ahead of my appointment time. Checked in. They said, "Hey, it's going to be another hour or two." They got delayed somehow. So I'm walking back out to the truck to get my dog to let him outside. And the whole time I'm walking back to the truck and I'm getting him out and setting him on the ground, I'm just thinking, okay, now I got to adjust my schedule. And if they don't get me done until this time, then, I went through this whole process of all this kind of stuff as we were walking from the truck to the grass. And I noticed right when we got past the front of the truck, he stopped. And I looked down at him to see what he was doing, and he had his head tilted up and just sitting there, just standing there with his head tilted. And then I kind of got focused on, instead of what was in my head, what was actually going on. And the sun had came out. After 3 days of nonstop rain, and me always complaining, it's just raining and miserable and nasty, and the sun had came out. I didn't even notice it because I was so tied up in my head about now my schedule is changing and I got to adjust all this. that I didn't even notice the sun was out. He did, and when I seen that, it's like, oh yeah, that is nice. And we were both kind of sitting there with our head tilted, just kind of soaking in that sun, you know. But that's the deal. Humans, we get so tied up in just all the crap, you know. Worried about what did happen, or worried about what could happen, or worried about this, or worried about that. And it's understandable, but we need to take some time to just relax and just live in the moment, you know. And that's like I said, that's one of the things I really learned spending all that time with my dog, and he just showed me over and over and over again, you know, what it's like living in a moment. And when you can learn to do that, the world's a really beautiful place if you can learn to live in the moment and enjoy each moment, you know. And being out in nature, it makes it easier to start learning that because you're away from a lot of the other distractions. Now, one disadvantage, and one thing I see people do a lot, is people might go to a hike, go on a little hike, say maybe it's a half a mile to some flat rock. It's a flat rock trail, and there's some really cool giant boulder out there or whatever that people, and the trail goes out to that and then turns around and comes back. So what I see people doing a lot is they will stop. I mean, they'll go out there and they'll either be on their phone, just, you know, social media and this and that and everything, just adding to all that crap you're thinking, all that information overload, stuff that might give you anxiety or trigger depression or whatever. It's just all that bad stuff. You're out in this beautiful place and you're just soaking in all that potentially bad information. At the very least, it's distracting you from all this. And or they'll be out with somebody else and they'll be walking along, and they're just they're both, you know, sitting there complaining about their job, or they're complaining about their kids, or they're complaining about their spouse, or they're worried about this or worried about that, or am I going to get that promotion, and Johnny got the promotion, it should have been mine, and just on and on and on. So you can't really enjoy this, you know. And they'll get out there and they'll take their little picture of them standing in front of that rock or whatever for Instagram, post it on there, and then they'll go right back to being on their phone or griping to their friend or whatever, and just, you know, all that wasted time. They could have really been out just enjoying nature, and they just blew that perfect opportunity to get out there. So so getting out in nature, it's something that really helped me. Like I said in my introduction video, I suffered from depression and anxiety for a long time, and for a lot of that, it was kind of crippling. It was hard. It was keeping me from enjoying life, keeping me from doing everything that I like to do. And I finally got past that, and a lot of that was getting back out into nature. I practically grew up out in the woods, but there was this like 5-year period where I just didn't do anything, and it just made it worse, you know. Just kept having these urges though to get out in nature and everything, but I just didn't do it, you know. Like I said, the depression and anxiety, just crippling, you know. It's hard enough to get out of bed, let alone make plans to go do something. So I struggled with that. I know a lot of other people struggle with that same kind of stuff, even if it's not on the same level. Maybe it's not as bad, or maybe it's worse, or whatever. But people nowadays, it seems like every human being has some level of that, especially here in America. I think it should be. I think we've gotten away too far away from what human beings are supposed to be and how human beings are supposed to live and everything. And we need to step away from all the technology. We need to step away from all the stressors and all the busy lifestyle and all the rush and all that kind of stuff, and just come out in nature. And no matter how you want to enjoy that, whether you want to go for a walk, or you want to go out kayaking, or you just, you know, just getting out in nature and starting to appreciate the small things again. I think that would really make a big difference in a lot of people. It really help out a lot of people, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to start this channel, was to encourage people to get out, but also maybe if you don't have any experience, or I know a lot of people are afraid to go out in the woods and everything, but to help people to feel comfortable going out, to give them some skills, and to help them, to get out here. So one thing you could do, instead of just walking from point A to point B and turn around and walking back, to try to start learning how to live in nature, is even if you could just go out and walk out, get off the trail a little bit. If you're hiking, get off the trail just a little ways, so you're kind of off by yourself, and just sit. Because when you're walking through the woods, a lot of all the animals know you're out there, and they all just kind of quiet down and hide down and everything until you walk by, and then they all come back out again. So just going out someplace and then just setting for, in the beginning, even if it's only 5 minutes, just setting, and you'll see nature start coming back alive and everything. You'll see the squirrels and the birds start coming out, and you'll see all the other animals start coming out and everything. And just sit there and listen. And especially if you could do it with your eyes closed, and just listen to all the sounds and everything, the birds chirping, this time of year the leaves are starting to fall. You can hear when the wind's blowing, you can hear the leaves kind of falling through the trees onto the ground and everything. And just getting out there and just learning to just sit with no distractions, no phone, no nothing. Just sit and just listen, just watch, just enjoy that moment, enjoy that time. And in the beginning, it's hard for people, because to sit still and not do anything, not think, not be on the phone, not do whatever, it's really hard for people to do when they're first starting out. So even if it's just a minute, just go out there and just sit. If you have to, set a timer on your watch or something, and just try to make it 1 minute without talking. If somebody's with you, without talking, without getting on your phone, just get out and just sit and just listen and just watch nature all around you and everything. There's so many little things, like seeing the beauty in the moment, living in the moment. There's just so many things you could find out in nature that you could really spend a lot of time just sitting there, not thinking about work, not thinking about problems at home, not thinking about anything. Just, why does that plant grow like that? It's that simple. And look at that spider web. You could spend some time trying to figure out what kind of spider is that. Maybe you can see the spider if you sit here long enough. What kind of spider is that builds a nest like that? Why is that nest built more like it's more pillowy, more solid? Pillowy and solid don't sound like the same words, but it's not the typical spider web where it's just got lines that are a little bit apart. That's like just this big, cobweb looking thing. What is it about the spiders that type of spider that builds a nest like that? Is that web better than the typical ones you see? Or why is it a different design and everything? This all might sound really stupid, but if you get out here in nature and just spend some time looking at things, really just focusing on all the little things in life that nature has out here, and then you could go home. I always suggest that if you're going to go out in nature, put your phone on airplane mode, so you don't get all the distractions and everything from your phone going off, chiming, and people calling and all that kind of stuff. But take a picture of it. If it's something like this, or those vines or something, take a picture of it, and then whenever you get home, research it some more. But sit out here. I think one of the things with living in the moment that helps out a lot is just sit out here and try to figure it out on your own. Just spend some time watching. If you see the spider building the nest, watch him build it. See how he does it. If there's bugs in there, what's he catching? It's not up high like a lot of spider webs. It's down low. What kind of insects is he catching versus a spider web that's 10 feet up in the air? or 5 feet right at face level. Um, what's the difference? What kind of insects is this one catching versus one up 5 foot tall? There's so many things. I mean, you could just go on and on and on. You can come out here every day for the next 20 years and see something else that just might pique your curiosity. And the more you do it, the more things will pique your curiosity, and the easier you can just slip in and slip into the woods and slip out of your head. That sounds stupid, but all the thoughts, all the problems, all the issues and everything, just leave them in your car, slip out in the woods, and just turn your mind off and of all the crap, and just spend some time focusing on all these little things. So how this tree is fallen and everything, but it is still continuing its growth upwards, and it could teach you something. Nature provides you everything that you need to exist, not only physically with food and shelter and water and all that kind of stuff, and plants that provide medicine and all that stuff, but also the things that could help you, if you really think about it, and that tree and all the struggles it faced and it continued on and everything, it can teach you about life and teach you to keep doing that, to keep growing and push past your struggles and all that kind of stuff. So when I first started learning when I was getting help with my depression and everything, I was taught about the living in the moment and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I was taught was about seeing the beauty in life. All the anxiety, all the depression, all the crap, all the stress at work and all that kind of stuff, we tend to, as humans in 2023, tend to focus on that stuff, all the bad stuff. We focus on it so much that we miss so much beauty in life. It could be just you're walking through a store and there's some little kid giggling because their mom did something they thought was funny, and that's a beautiful moment that most of us were so caught up in our head we wouldn't even see that. The laughter the innocent laughter of a child. And I was told to start taking pictures. We started out like take 5 pictures every day of something that's beautiful. And at first I fought with it. Oh, this is stupid and all that kind of stuff. And then I was taking pictures and I didn't like them because they weren't professional quality, just something that you'd see in a museum or something, or Natural Geographic or something like that. It was just aggravating. I was just fighting against it, like we humans do a lot of times when somebody's trying to help us. We'd just rather be caught up in all of our misery than do something different. But when I finally came around and finally started doing that, one of the things I took a picture of was it was some pine trees and stuff, and there were pine needles on the ground. The picture sucked. It was just a picture of some pine needles, no big deal. But to me it was beautiful because it reminded me a lot of my childhood, where we grew up out at my parents' house. There's a lot of woods back there, and we spent a lot of time out there in those woods, and there was one area that had a lot of pine trees and everything. And seeing the pine needles in the pine trees and smelling the pine needles in pine trees, it brought back a lot of good memories for me. So that was one of the pictures I took of something beautiful. Okay, I'm back up here at my campsite that I'm building out here. See, and like I said, nature provides everything. I didn't bring a tripod. Nature's provided me these rocks to hold my phone, just like the tree branch back there when I was filming. So my point is, I'd like to encourage and inspire over time people to get out into nature and really see the beauty that it has and everything. And just we got to go back at least to some level on the way that we humans were designed to live, even if it's only taking a break for an hour from society and all the troubles and all the stress and everything, even if it's only taking a break to just go out for an hour, go for a walk in the woods, uh, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. And the more times you do it, the more in tune with nature you become, the more aware of things in nature you are, the more you can start to learn to live in the moment and really enjoy and appreciate those things that you would have normally missed. If maybe your first time out in the woods or whatever, and especially caught up in all the crap in your head, you would have missed them. But the more time you spend out here, and then out here away from all the distractions, getting better and better and better at living in the moment, being able to shut down all the noise and just enjoy that little moment in your day. It could be anything, like I said, the innocent laugh of a small child or something, But learning how to do that, learning how to live in the moment out here is a lot easier if you shut off your phone. And if you make some ground rules with anybody that's going with you, that, hey, we're not going to be talking about work, we're not going to be talking about family problems, we're just going to go out here and just relax and enjoy ourselves. And I prefer a lot of times to go solo, because then I don't have the distractions of the other people. I really like to soak it all in and everything. So anyway, that's it. The mental health and nature. Nature can help heal a lot of the wounds, help you at least get started to heal those wounds. It can help you learn to live in the moment. It can help you physically, the exposure to the sunlight, the exercise, the fresh air, all that kind of stuff it can help you with. In modern society, with all the distractions and everything, the world can be a really ugly place, with all the pressures, with all the stress, with all the, social pressures, financial pressures, job pressures, all that kind of stuff. It could be a really ugly place. But if you learn how to live in the moment, learning to live in the moment, the world can be a really beautiful place.